What's good with y'all, man? It's CTZ, and today I'm gonna be giving y'all my early predictions of the top 3 teams to use in each tier of NBA 2K23 PlayNow Online. But before we get any further into this video, make sure you drop a like, smash that subscribe button as we're on the road to 3,000 subs. It's completely free to make my day, and now let's go ahead and hop into it.
Hold on, let's get this shit. Let's get this shit. Let's get this shit. Let's top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. Hold on.
So we're gonna start in tier 3 and work our way up to tier 1. And for tier 3, man, we got the Charlotte Hornets up first, man. I'm gonna keep it brief and simple for each team up until I do my top 3 teams. So let's get into it. This team is not as good as last year. They lost Miles Bridges, and that's a huge loss. So that's a big loss. Gordon Hayward too. Long term in 2K, this year at least, he might be injured. So that's another huge loss if he gets injured, but knock on wood, that does not happen. Oh, we got the Pistons, y'all. This is gonna be a fun, interesting team in my opinion. I feel like a lot of these tier 3 teams will be the young teams, so they're gonna all have kind of like the general theme, but this team in particular is gonna be interesting because you have a young dynamic duo in the backcourt with Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham. I would definitely switch it though and put Cade at the 1. And if I'm using this team, I'd probably put Marvin Bagley at the 5 just because he could probably shoot at least corner threes. At least in the past, he's been able to. And he's fast and mobile at the 5. He just leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of interior defense. You know me, I like to have a 5-man lineup that can shoot the rock. Houston, they're like another Pistons team. I just feel like they're just slightly a little bit below them. They're not as good in my opinion. They're still gonna be a fun, interesting team for tier 3. I'm not a big fan of Jayshawn Tate, but I am intrigued with their front court and backcourts with KPJ, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, and Alperen Sengun. The Pacers, man, look at my boy Tyrese, man. If you know, you know. Sacktown misses that boy like crazy. But let's get back to this team. Halliburton's gonna be solid. He's a big guard. Buddy Hield is very good in 2K for shooting. He's always been a sniper. He uses it as a quick release. Chris Duarte had a solid release last year, so I'm sure he'll be just as fine this year in terms of shooting. You have Miles Turner for now, unless he gets traded later in the season, who could also shoot the 3 ball, y'all. I would probably take out Isaiah Jackson. I know he can't shoot the rock, and I'd probably put in a guy like either Jalen Smith or their rookie Benedict Mathurin. So that's a smaller lineup though. If you go with Benedict, you can go with a taller lineup that could possibly shoot with Jalen Smith. New York, man, they have a solid bench because you have D Rose and Cam Reddish coming off the bench, and I would probably start both of them. The guys that I would probably have to take out are either Fournier or Brunson, and I'd probably go small and take out Mitchell Robinson and leave Julius Randle, who could shoot at the 5. Obviously, defensively, you're gonna leave a lot to be desired, but the way I play in my play style, I like to run and gun, 5-out style, a lot of pick and roll plays, screen and roll, screen and pop. So I need all that spacing as much as possible. If needed, you have Mitchell Robinson, you have your defender that can come back in and play defense for you. Oh, you got the Thunder, man. I wish Chet Holmgren did not get injured going up against LeBron, man. It's unfortunate that happened, but back to the Thunder. It's gonna be a solid team up until the regular season starts. For obvious reasons, Chet Holmgren's gonna be out. He's not gonna be playable, usable in 2K. So make sure y'all use him now. Have fun with him now up until the season starts. This team will still be solid though. They'll still suffice because you have a solid 4-man lineup. Because you have SGA, Josh Giddey, both big ass guards. Lou Dort, your on-ball defender that can shoot threes. Darius Bazley, I don't know about, but you still have Derek Favors, who's solid. He will be just fine. But if you could have ran him and Chet, that would have been a nasty team for tier 3. Oh, we got the Magic, y'all. I forgot about these boys. The reason I'm excited for these dudes too is they have Paolo Banchero now, and not just him. He's in addition to all their length. Franz Wagner 6'10", Paolo 6'10". I'm not a big fan. I'm not too high on Wendell Carter Jr., but Bol 7'2" if he's usable. Mo Bamba, who's also basically 7'1", 7'2", I can't remember, but they're both basically the same build. And Jonathan Isaac, y'all, like that's a 5-man lineup that you could run, that could switch all the screens and just be hell for your opponent on the defensive end, y'all. So this is definitely a defensive team that you could run possibly if you wanted to. That would maybe like a little bit of offense, but you would just live on the defensive end. The Spurs, man, this is gonna be a boring team and this is not gonna be a good team. I'm gonna keep it sweet and short for this team. They just lost all their good players, plain and simple. They're going through a rebuild, so in 2K, they're not gonna be good. And same goes for this team. I feel like by the trade deadline, or even before this first game of the season, these guys, all of their veteran players, even Jordan Clarkson, they're gonna be gone. They're gonna go young. They're gonna try and trade for picks and all that stuff. So either way, with or without these guys, they're not gonna be good in 2K. And last but not least, we have the Wizards, man. This is gonna be a solid tier 3 team. I forgot about these guys. You have KP, who as long as he can stay healthy, is a very good 2K player. 7'3" center that can shoot the rock and play defense and block shots. That's all you need. Bradley Beal, we know what he gets into. Monte Morris, who's a shooter but undersized. Will Barton, who can be a shooter if his release is solid and is a solid defender. And you still have Kyle Kuzma, who could be a stretch 4, and Rui Hachimura, who I loved using last year because his release was so water. So watch out for this Wizards team, man. They might make the top 3. And at number 3, y'all, I'm gonna have to go with the Thunder, man. I'm looking at this team in the long term. You're not gonna have Chet Holmgren the whole time. Like, yeah, they're gonna be good up until the first game starts because you lost Chet Holmgren. A stretch 5 is 7'1" that could move and mobile. That's a big loss, man. So you have to depend on Derek Favors to be your inside center. That's a big dynamic change for this team. So I have them at number 3 in tier 3. At number 2, man, this was a toss-up between this team and this team. So it's really preference, but because they lost Miles Bridges, and I'm gonna just knock on wood and pray that KP can stay healthy for the most part, this team will be better in my opinion. They have way better center. Mason Plumlee versus KP, that's a big difference. KP can mash and shoot threes, and you still have defenders in Will Barton, Rui Hachimura, and that's all you need. 2 solid on-ball defenders, and then you just hide Bradley Beal and go crazy with him on offense, y'all. So this team did lose KCP, who was a big loss. I would have definitely put him in over Monte Morris, but at least Monte can shoot the rock, and he has T-Mac base release. And that release, you don't know, is super water. So I have this team at number 2 in tier 3, y'all. And at number 1, man, I'm going with defense, y'all. I'm going all in on defense and just mashing. And this team can still shoot the 3 ball too. You have a 6'8" and up lineup. They might actually be 6'10" and up. Franz Wagner 6'10", Paolo 6'10". Yeah, this team is all 6'10" and up. Jonathan Isaac 6'11", if usable, 7'2" Bobo, and 7' or 7'1" Mo Bamba. Can you just imagine trying to go against that team in a 2-3 zone or a full court man that could just switch all the screens? That's gonna be hell to go against, y'all. So I'm gonna put this team as number 1. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Bobo is usable. And in tier 2, y'all, we start off with the Atlanta Hawks. Look at that dynamic duo in the backcourt, man. This team is really gonna depend on DeJounte Murray's jump shot release. If he has a good jump shot, this team's gonna be great. And you still have a small lineup you could run and put Bogey in and take out Capella and just slide John Collins to the 5. All 5 of them could shoot. So it's really gonna make or break for this team in tier 2 if DeJounte Murray has a good release. The Bulls, man, this team could have been really good and probably a top 3 team for me in tier 2, but because Lonzo's injury prone and Caruso, I believe, is also injured, this team is not gonna be as good. You're losing your 2 best on-ball defenders. Zach LaVine and DeMar are not good wing defenders. They're undersized at the wing position. So make sure, if you a Lonzo fan or a Bulls fan, make sure y'all use this team right now before they take them out the game. Oh, we got the Cavs. I forgot about this team, man. I forgot about that Spider trade to the Cavs. This team's gonna be crazy offensively. Defensively is where they're gonna be. They're gonna leave a lot to be desired. So for obvious reasons, DG and Spider are both undersized at 6'1" and probably even shorter. Isaac Okoro, if he has a good release, he could play. If not, you're gonna probably have to put Caleb in at the 4 and slide Mobley to the 3. You have a good trio in terms of small forward, power forward, and center, but defensively at the backcourt, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland is gonna sell you a lot on defense. So we'll see though. This team, like I said, is gonna go crazy on offense. Mavericks, y'all. This is a steady team. They didn't really change much. Honestly, in my opinion, they got less better. You lost Jalen Brunson and you lost KP, who are both, especially KP, very good in 2K. Jalen Brunson, maybe not so much, but KP is a big loss. Christian Wood is a downgrade in my opinion, so this team definitely got slightly worse. I wouldn't say it's really a huge loss, because Christian Wood is still fine. He's solid. He'll shoot threes, make threes. He just won't play good defense as KP would because of his build and his block. He's not going to block as many shots as KP would have. Next up, we have the Timberwolves, man. This team, it's just 2K. They're not going to fit well with each other. Maybe they can make it work somehow in real life, but with the way how 2K has been played in the past, bear with me again. This is early predictions. Who knows? Who knows? I could be wrong with all of these predictions, but I just don't think it's going to be a good team. You have to, unless you take out Rudy Gobert, take him out, put in a guy like Jaden McDaniels. Hopefully he has a better release this year. And hopefully Kyle Anderson's release is not so slow either. Because from what I've realized is all of these players in shoot-around actually have their real jumpers now. So Kyle Anderson, if you don't know, he has like the slowest release in real life in all of 2K and all of the NBA, y'all. So it's going to sell y'all if he has his own personal release. So you probably would have to take him out for another guy too. And I would have easily put in a guy like Malik Beasley or Taurean Prince, who were both snipers for me last year, but they lost both of them in that Rudy Gobert trade, y'all. So I don't think this team's gonna be very good in tier 2, y'all. Ooh, you have the Pelicans, man. This is a flip side for me, at least. This is gonna be a nasty team, y'all. This might be the #1 team. If not, it's for sure top 3 team in tier 2, y'all. You have Ingram, who can move at 6'8", CJ McCollum, who's a sniper and can move a little bit on offense. Herb Jones, your on-ball defender, and he can shoot threes. Zion Williamson, you could put him at the 5 and go small. Take out Jonas Valanciunas and put in Trey Murphy at your 4. All of them are 6'8" and up, or at least 6'7" and up, that could shoot the 3-ball, defend, except for with the exception of CJ McCollum because he's only 6'3". Oh, damn, they got Phoenix in tier 2, y'all. This was a team that was usually in tier 1. I'm a little surprised, man. They only have an 82 overall defense. I'm surprised with that because Mikal Bridges and CP3 are usually good defenders in 2K, especially last year. And Mikal Bridges, you could put him on ball and CP3 on the secondary. Jay Crowder, I would take him out and put Cam Johnson for most shooting. And obviously, you know what D-Books could give you, buckets and shooting. Defense, probably not. And DeAndre Ayton will do everything just fine. So this team will definitely, in my opinion, probably be a top 3 team for tier 2. Next up, we have the Blazers, man. This is probably one of the bottom teams of tier 2. I honestly thought this team, I'm surprised. I thought they would have been in tier 3. The only player you could really depend on is obviously Dame. And who knows, he might get injured again this year. He had a pretty bad rib injury from what I remember from last year that set him out most of the season. And the 3 middle players are not very good. And Nurkic, always been a mid 2K player. He might be good in real life, but in 2K, he's not really that dude. Oh my Kings, man. I'm gonna try not to be biased, but this team is definitely an interesting team to use in 2K this year because you have Malik Monk now, Kevin Huerter, both snipers in 2K from what I've experienced in the past. I would definitely plug them in, take out Davion Mitchell for sure, and either whoever has a worse release or worse shooting in between Harrison Barnes or Keegan Murray. I'm guessing they're gonna hoe Keegan Murray because he's a rookie, so it's probably gonna be Harrison Barnes at the 4, and then you just run your small ball lineup. If Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox have a better jump shot this year, catch and shoot wise, watch out for this team. This is gonna be a sleeper team to use in 2K this year. Next up, we have the Raptors, man. This is another team just like the Magic and the Clippers. Big, tall lineup, 6'8" and up, that could all play defense and switch all the screens. So if switch all is the thing this year, this might be the, I don't know about number 1, but at least a top 3 team in tier 2 for us. All right, and shooting it right back up to the north is number 3 on the list, Toronto Raptors, man. But basically, you take out the 2 guards, Fred and Gary Trent Jr., plug in, you have Otto Porter Jr. now. I forgot about him. You can shoot the 3, who's 6'8". You have Precious Achiuwa, who I loved shooting the ball with last year. He had the best release, Larry Bird release. And Chris Boucher, who is a solid rim protector and 3. He could stretch the floor. I wouldn't say he's the best shooter on this team, but he could stretch the floor. And then obviously you have Scotty Barnes, 6'9" guard who could defend. OG Anunoby, 3 and D. Pascal Siakam. This team's gonna be nasty, but I have them at number 3 in tier 2, y'all. Now, number 2, hear me out. Some of y'all might have this team, probably think they belong in tier 1, but I have this team at number 2. It was a toss-up and it was really close with the other team, but I just feel like this team lacks a bench. I don't know if fatigue's gonna be, tough this year. And obviously Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Chris Paul can defend, but he's only 6 foot tall. Devin Booker cannot defend. So you have to hide them and put Mikal Bridges on ball. And Jay Crowder is not really good in 2K in my opinion. So I like to use Cam Johnson, but this team is not as good in my opinion to this team, y'all. This is gonna be number 1 in tier 2, y'all. If you don't know, you gotta use this team. This team is disgusting. I'm praying, fingers crossed, all that stuff, that Zion doesn't get hurt. If he doesn't get hurt, this team's gonna be, in my opinion, the best team to use in all of tier 2, y'all. You have a demigod lineup with the exception of CJ McCollum, and they could all shoot the rock and defend. So you have to leave CJ in though because he could shoot the rock. And you still have Dyson Daniels. Don't forget about that rook. He's 6'7" or 6'6". And depending on his jump shot in 6, you might be able to replace CJ McCollum with him and really switch all the screens, y'all. And if this team could switch all screens and move the way they do on offense, watch out for this team, man. First up, off rip, man, we have the Brooklyn Nets, man. This team is definitely a question mark in real life, but in 2K, they gonna be nasty, man. As long as none of them get hurt or Kyrie sits out, they gonna be fun to use. They definitely belong in tier 1. If I use this team, I'm taking out Nicholas Claxton, sliding Ben Simmons to the 5, and sliding in Joe Harrison at either the 4 or 3, and then putting Kevin Durant at the other spot that Joe Harris is not at. The only problem with this team is you have 2 small guards. You have Kyrie and Seth, so you have to hide them. If you're running that lineup that I just said, you also have Joe Harris, who's going to leave a lot to be desired on defense, and I believe he's injured too, so he might not even start this season. So if you have to run Nicholas Claxton and Ben Simmons, that's 2 dudes that don't stretch the floor for you. So that leaves a lot. That says a lot already for this team. Next up, we have the Boston Celtics, man. This team is going to depend on one player and one player only, Jason Tatum. If his jump shot is better this year, this team's going to be nasty, y'all. You just take out Rob Williams, slide Al Horford to the 5, and slide in Grant Williams at the 4, and leave the rest in. You have 5 guys that can switch screens and shoot the 3-ball and dribble. You have Marcus Smart, who should be able to decently dribble. Jaylen Brown, who could for sure 3-and-D, and Jason Tatum. So this team could be good depending on Jason Tatum. Next up, we have the Denver Nuggets, man. This team's gonna be good if they can stay healthy, depending on Jamal Murray and MPJ, man. They're coming back from serious injuries. They also took a big dub in KCP. The acquisition of a 3-and-D guard like that is very good. And we'll see, man. Nikola Jokic has never been super good in 2K because he's slow. Throwing dimes in real life is a thing, but in 2K, you can't really throw the same kinds of passes. You can't make the players cut like how they do in real life and play with Jokic. So Jokic is one of those dudes who, in my opinion, hasn't been super good in 2K, but he still obviously has a high rating and super crazy badges. He's still gonna be good, y'all. So, but in tier 1, I don't know if this team even makes it for top 3. Next, we have the Warriors, man. With shooting being difficult, this team might not be it. They might not be as effective as they usually are because you have the 3 speed boosts now this year. For all of you that like to run around screens last year, in the past 2Ks with Steph, you probably can't do it as much this year. You have to give up the ball. Once he has that red, once he's fatigued out, he's gonna miss his shots. I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna definitely have to try it out for myself, but this team might not be as good as they have been in the past. And we have my Clippers, y'all. My Clippers. Same thing, just like the Magic. Same thing, just like the Raptors. It's a 6'8" and above team that could all switch screens, shoot the rock. But this team is way better than the other two that I just mentioned, for obvious reasons. You have PG, Kawhi, Rocco, Nicholas Batum, and then you have probably your best shooter, for me at least last year, was Marcus Morris. He always green shots for me. I don't know why. I loved his release. So he's also probably their worst defender in terms of perimeter and interior. But besides that fact, this team is gonna be a crazy team. Probably, I'm gonna call it right now, the best defensive team in 2K23 PlayNow Online. The Lakers, man. This team, in my opinion, did not get better. They got worse. You lost your best shooter last year in Malik Monk. You also lost THT, but in 2K, he wasn't very good. You did acquire Thomas Bryant. That's a dub because he could shoot the rock from in the past. I don't know about this year. We'll see his release. But Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook together, that's not going to work. You got to take one of them out. And personally, I don't like either of them in 2K. I like to run LeBron at the one. So we'll see if you can make it work, you can make it work. But in my opinion, I don't even know if this team makes the top 3, y'all. Grizzlies, man. This was the team that snuck in from tier 2. I forgot about them, man. Unfortunately, though, they did lose Kyle Anderson, who was my stretch 4 last year, because I don't like playing with Steven Adams. I like all shooters. And DeAnthony Melton. I liked using him sometimes over Dylan Brooks because he had a better release in the past. But they also lost him to the Sixers. So, in my opinion, this team is more of a tier 2 team. That should say enough. They're not going to come close to making the top 3 in tier 1. Miami Heat, man. This is probably the most plain and simple team to use. They're going to be the most steady team to use. But they didn't get better. They actually got worse. They lost PJ Tucker. I'm not a big PJ Tucker fan in 2K, but I like to put in Duncan Robinson at the 4 for stretch shooting, and I like to put in Tyler Hero for his bucket getting and shooting as well. But you have 2 small guards already and a power forward in Duncan Robinson, at least the lineup I run, that can't defend inside or out. And Bam Adebayo is an undersized center, so this team, in my opinion, won't be as good as the other teams you could use in tier 1. Ooh, we have the Bucks, y'all. This is going to be a team where if mashing is really a thing and the meta, this team's gonna be it, because shooting is gonna be harder this year in itself, and dribbling is not gonna be as effective with the 3 speed boosts. So this team might be it if you could just mash with Giannis, have all your shooters surrounding him, and you have all guys that could defend from 1 through 5, y'all. And last but not least, we have the 76ers, y'all. This is a team that's gonna depend on one player for me if they're good, or if they got better at least, and it's Tyrese Maxey. If he got better jump shot and better dribble sigs, this team will be good. And he should. He deservedly so. He's a bucket in real life. 2K hoed this man last year. So I hope he got better this year in 2K. We'll see. And I would definitely take out PJ Tucker, slide Tobias to the 4, and plug in Matisse Thybulle at the 3, I mean, for on-ball defense. He's your on-ball defender. He's literally your 3-and-D. Hide James Harden and hide Tyrese Maxey. This team leaves a bit to be desired, though, defensively, because all they have is Matisse Thybulle. You lost Danny Green, who I liked using as a 3-and-D player last year in 2K. All right, so at number 3, y'all, I'm gonna go with my Clippers, man. This is my defensive team of the year. I'm gonna call it right now. This is probably the best defensive team. Y'all know how I feel about them, man. The switch all defense was crazy last year. It was so hard to score on. I couldn't imagine going against it. So if that's the same meta this year, watch out for this team. At number 2, I have the Warriors, man. I'm gonna just bank on someone putting the cheese out and how to dribble and somehow get it, because there's always gonna be a way, y'all. There's always gonna be a way around it. Although there's the 3 speed boosts this year, I feel like someone's gonna find it, whoever it does, and once people start finding out about it, Steph Curry's gonna be back. He's gonna be back and usable and just go crazy with him, y'all. So, and obviously the 3 is worth way more than the 2, it adds up. This team is nasty on the transition break, and you still have 3 solid defenders. Klay Thompson, Wiggins, and Draymond. But he's just disgusting on the defensive end, y'all. And at number 1, man, I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks, man. The safe pick. It's the safety pick. Giannis is Giannis. Can't stop that man. He's 6'11", and does the things he does. And if he could shoot this year too, y'all, oh my goodness, watch out. Because his jumper always improves every year. So 2K should improve it in terms of his rating. So we'll see. But this is my number 1 team in tier 1 of 2K23 PlayNow Online. But alright then, y'all, that is gonna wrap up this video. Hope y'all dig it. Let me know in the comments below, man. Do y'all think I'm tweaking? Are my top 3 picks for each tier accurate, or are they way off, man? And please don't forget to drop a like on this video. Smash that subscribe button as we're on the road to 3,000 subs. It's completely free and it'll make my day. And as always, I appreciate every single one of y'all, and much love.